Hey guys, it's Steve. Don't forget to subscribe for fresh new content and click on the link in the video description for free courses and thousands of articles in photography. Today let's talk about depth of field, since it's a topic that some people are having trouble with. So every photograph has depth of field. When a camera focuses on a point, part of the scene in front of that point and part of the scene behind that point will also be in focus. The depth of the area measured from the point closest to the camera to the point farthest from the camera is called the depth of field. Everything within the depth of field is in sharp focus. Everything outside of the depth of field is blurry. The depth of this area varies on a couple of factors, including the focal length of the lens, the aperture, and the focusing distance. It also depends on the sensor size, but you cannot really control that. So the depth of field shrinks as the length of the lens is increased, the aperture opening gets bigger, and the focusing distance gets closer. If you would change those factors in reverse, this will increase the depth of field. This is why wide-angle lenses are used for landscapes to increase the depth of field, and why portrait photographers use short telephoto lenses with wide apertures to decrease the depth of field. When somebody says that a photograph has a beautiful depth of field, usually they're talking about a photo with a narrow depth of field, where only a tiny portion of the photograph is in focus, while everything else is a nice blur. When you talk about landscape photography, people will praise a photograph where everything is in focus, beginning with what's in the closest foreground, like a flower, to the furthest mountain in the background. When you control the depth of field, you basically control what elements in the frame are in focus. Elements within the depth of field command attention, and blurry elements do not. To create depth of field that only contains your subject and blurs the background, you can use a telephoto lens or zoom in on your subject. You can move as close to your subject as possible. You can move the subject away from the background elements and closer to the camera. And you can use a wide aperture such as f1.8. This can give you a very narrow depth of field. You could get a depth of field that is basically millimeters thin. This will make it hard to focus on something that you are looking for. For portraits, for example, you want the entire face to be in focus, from the tip of the nose all the way to the ear. In landscapes, to create a depth of field that includes everything in the scene, you would use a wide-angle lens or zoom out to the widest setting. You would move back and focus on a point about 1/3 of the way into the scene, and you would use a small aperture setting such as f16. Focusing 1/3 of the way into the scene is a trick. It approximates calculating what's called a hyperfocal distance. In a nutshell, the hyperfocal distance is the distance you focus at so that everything in the scene is within a depth of field. This distance changes depending on the focal length and the aperture setting, but the rule of thumb is to focus about 1/3 of the way into the scene, and that's usually close enough. This is also a cool trick you could use for things like candid shots or street photography, where you don't want to worry about focusing. Just set your camera at about f8 and manually focus about 15 feet away. Now your camera is ready to, at a moment's notice, to take a picture of anything from about 8 feet away to infinity without having to do any focusing. Being able to control the depth of field is an important tool and should be in every photographer's bag of tricks.
If you want to learn more about this topic and read the full article, click on the link in the description or use the address shown in your browser. You can also find all our freebies and thousands of photography articles there. We hope this was helpful to you. Thanks for watching.